Here's a good one. What happens to Whittaker? He can't.
Yeah.
He's never fighting Izzy again.
No.
They're never doing that.
No, don't do that.
They will never do that.
Who they talking about? Is he fighting next?
DDP.
Why did I feel there was someone else that they were talking
Oh,
about?
hey,
Him?
but how's this for a little
A little morsel.
a little thought?
All right.
You do Strickland and Whittaker, and you do Izzy and DDP in Africa.
Oh, they got to do it in Africa
They
now.
have to do it in Africa.
I mean,
Don't you
where
reckon?
else?
Don't you reckon that's a banger?
I would take that. Strickland versus. I'm happy with Strickland versus Whittaker.
Strickland versus Whittaker, and you put Usman. Put Usman versus.
You reckon Usman wants to stay at 185 though?
No, put him with anyone in Africa.
Oh,
Just put him in our card as a co-main.
yeah.
But you got
They'd have-
Plessis and
they'd have-
Izzy.
They'd have plenty of African stars. They could make a really big card to go to
Dude,
Africa.
have
It's
you-
just if they've got the issue, the big issue that no one would want to talk about is the infrastructure to get there.
Miles was sent.
Saudis they were easier to cooperate. There was money and things to just set up a giant area. We'll take this. We'll do that.
They got some-
Africa don't have that kind of
They'd have
infrastructure.
some World Cup shit there.
What? Still in Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too spread out. You know how fucking big Africa
Yeah,
is.
they're not going to go on a fucking world tour. They're going to UFC. You just
Yeah,
pick a
but,
state. Nigeria.
I don't know.
Nigeria is really developed.
Nigeria's developed. It's going to be massive.
Nigeria-
in the next 20 years, it's going to be the most populous country in the world.
Nigeria would be, or I imagine South Africa is very fucking well developed as well. They'd have a stadium.
They would. Yeah, I don't. I
It's
seriously,
just the logistics of it.
You know
The
what
logistics of an African, because you got to get everyone. This is something that's never happened. You got to get malaria medication. Like it's a very, very big.
Also,
thing.
I think it's grease and palms. I think it's such a political game
Well,
to get
they-
things taken over there.
they
What
would have
about
to.
trying to get the Olympics and the Commonwealth Games here to bring it back to Australian sports and how difficult it is? They're like, yeah, we'll do it. No, we'll bring it here. And then you're like, oh no, we can't afford it. No, we'll scrap that. So we lost the Commonwealth game, or we lost the Olympics or the Commonwealth. Melbourne dropped the games, right? And then Queensland were like, oh, we're going to do that. And then they're talking like, we don't have the, we can't do the development to actually be. And it's like, we might drop that too. And you can't do that on the world scale when it comes to these things. So they're like, before it's all set up, before they do it, they go, can we set this up? Can we do it?
And it's also the legit, like they've never done anything like it. Like it would be logistically a nightmare, I imagine.
Yep.
And what do they do with tickets? They'd have to lower ticket prices so the locals can afford it because they deserve to be there. This is their fucking African champions
See,
fighting.
there you
Like,
go. These are the questions that they'd have to come up with, mate. You need people that know this kind of stuff.
because poor people around the world can gather together for
They'll get around it, but,
$300,
yeah,
but
to pay
being
for a UFC
poor,
ticket, that's why.
African poor is a different poor.
Yeah. Who's going to get the shaft on that one? They have to fill the seats. So
But
you've got to make it
Who would you
applicable.
give? Who would you give Whittaker? The only one that makes sense is Strickland. Only one to me.
Yeah.
We were talking about it in the
no,
group chat, and these aren't all my thoughts as well. Shout out to my group chat. You know who you are.
Yeah. Oh, there's no one else leaps off the page because he's been doing it so long. He's almost fought everyone else. I mean, who else is there really at middleweight?
There's no one. He's like Robert Whittaker.
We still don't know what's happening with Hamzat though, do we?
Oh fuck that cunt! I'm so off the Hamzat train, man. Oh, he's just like it's Ramadan now, so he can't fight.
Yeah.
But it's just like
Can't even fight in the States.
pick a fucking weight class.
Yeah, well.
and just dominate it.
Yeah.
Because were they talking about comes up versus
Why do I feel there was a fight?
No, there is.
was
There's
something that was
one brewing.
announced.
There's one brewing. What is it? Comes up versus who?
I don't know. Is it someone in? Wait, why can't I? Like...
Is Comes up fighting at fucking 170 or
No,
185?
it'd be 185 now. He's gone up. Remember, there was too many issues with
You
the
do
weight.
him and Whittaker. You do him and fucking Whittaker. If he beats Whittaker, he deserves a title shot because Whittaker is the worst opponent for him.
Yeah, we thought that from a while ago, right?
Whittaker's
So-
the fucking worst opponent for him. You do Whittaker and Comes up.
Yeah, that could be.
Or
could be a good one.
Or that's all you do. That's the only one that makes sense.
Well, Strickland or
He's-
you got Strickland and Whittaker, or Whittaker versus Hamzat. Yeah, there's a few different options there.
You reckon? I reckon.
Oh, That was the other fight. So Ian Gary, our mate Ian.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so he...
I wasn't impressed.
No, well, he just point fights it
Just
out.
wasn't
They're all
impressed.
just touching gloves,
That's
being
fair.
like, this is cool. Let's
And every time
have a
they
little
land a
jab
strike,
here and a move
it was like
there.
watching a fucking sparring match.
Yeah,
I've
well,
seen people at
that's-
M16 fucking throw
Yeah.
harder.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, it was like
But he
watching...
knows he could do it. That's the issue. They're saying with Ian Gary's like, he's that technically sound. If he can play that and he can do that with pretty much nearly anyone in the welterweight division. So then he
I
asked
reckon Leon's a horrible matchup
yeah,
for
but then
him.
he asked for Colby. And it was like he's coming off a 3-fight skid.
I reckon...
Still with the name, but it's like how he looked even against Leon in his last fight.
I'd watch the fuck out of Colby and... I'd watch the
Colby
fuck out of it.
and Ian Gary.
I'd watch the
You
fuck
reckon
out of it.
that's a good one?
I reckon that's a good one.
Yeah?
It's wrestling heavy as fuck. Colby's not going to strike with him.
No, he's not going to want to strike with
Colby's
him.
not going to even...
How far is he going to have to shoot away from to get into his legs?
That's the thing. You got to be willing to cop.
That's
something
why.
nasty.
Will he be able to cop those shots? Or will Ian Gary be able to sit down in his shots
I
enough to
feel
actually
like
hurt him?
is Gary a very very big welterweight?
No,
No.
he's muscling up. He was quite skinny, and now he's kind of grown into his frame. He's
cause,
tall
because he seems like
he was never cut.
He seems like he's way bigger than Colby.
He just uses his length.
How
really
tall
well.
is Colby? You reckon 6'1"?
5'10". Colby's
Colby's only
about
5'10".
5'10". Yeah,
How tall is Gary? 6? Over 6?
6'1".
Yeah, I was gonna say because he looks a lot bigger in stature. Like Colby, he's got a cardio.
It's just styles and cardio to push forward. Gary circling as much as what he does, and hanging around the outside and not getting pinned
Who
against
do
the
you
cage.
put in that? Who do you put in that
Oh,
fight?
I think Gary would pepper him up now.
You
Where
reckon?
Colby is now, I think Gary fucking
Yeah,
peppers
he's
him
too
up.
inactive, isn't he?
Because even if Colby gets him to the ground, I don't think he can actually hold him to the ground. And then I think cardio Colby is a little bit like sea level Kane.
Yeah,
He might be at the tail end of it.
It's not even that. It's more like you fight once, maybe every 16 months, 14 months.
He went a long time in between
Like,
his last few fights.
But you're fighting maybe
He had
once
2
every
years off, and then he came back and got the title
every
shot.
1.5 years. You're
Yeah.
fighting like there's no amount of marathons that's going to prepare you to get punched in the face. Like you can run 10 marathons a week. Fucking Tony Ferguson finished the only person to finish David Goggins' fucking Hell Week.
Yeah.
But doesn't translate.
Doesn't matter when you get in the cage.
It doesn't
punching in the
translate.
face.
It does not. It translates obviously with cardio. Like if you can drag, like we'll get to Marab in a second.
Oh.
But if you can drown someone, like
drown him with pace.
But if
Nick
you're not
Diaz
practicing, if you're not practicing getting fucking belted every day, like you're not gonna.
Well, that was also the issue they'd say with cardio. It's like it's all fun to think you've got wicked cardio and wicked to look at your times running on a bike, look at your times swimming, look at your VO2 max. Yeah,
Get
that's
punched
great.
in the face after, like, every 2 minutes.
Because it's the idea of like shocking. So all of a sudden you get short, shallow breaths because every time you're getting hit, it's and so you can when you're running at a constant speed and you can keep consistency and then you push yourself and it works out. Yeah, but when it starts to sting like that and damage and everything starts to accumulate, you start getting in your own head going, oh, if I do this, then things are going to go wrong because I know the consequences of this. It's what makes it a very dangerous but beautiful sport because it's a game of... Yeah, it's a very, very difficult game to play.